It's no secret that money doesn't go as far in grocery stores as it once did. The soaring cost of food staples remains a pain point for millions of American families in 2023. In June, grocery prices rose again, keeping the cost of living at historic highs and squeezing the buying power of U.S. workers for yet another month. After dealing with over 2 years of persistent price increases, shoppers are having to pay up to 300% more on everyday essentials, and that's according to a new report that compares 2020 prices to the ones we're seeing at supermarkets today. If you're being forced to change your eating habits and worried about weekly price fluctuations at stores, you are not alone. A Swiftly survey reveals that the overwhelming majority of households in the United States are facing growing hardships and even going into debt to afford their grocery bills. With a recession unfolding and companies announcing mass job cuts, many people out there will, unfortunately, find themselves in extreme situations, and food insecurity and hunger may not be such distinct possibilities for those who are already struggling right now. We have a lot to cover in this video, but before moving on, we kindly ask you to support our work with a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss what's coming next. U.S. consumers are tired to see spiking food costs double or triple the prices they saw just a few months ago at their local grocery stores. Although overall inflation has fallen steadily since January, the cost of the food we eat at home has continued to soar, and that's having a major impact on the budget of every single American. In June, food prices climbed 10.9% from a year earlier, the biggest increase since 1979, according to data published by the Labor Department. As a comparison, food prices generally increased about 2% in prior years, meaning that we're seeing the cost of grocery staples rising more than 5 times faster than the historic average. Food industry experts say there's no single reason why grocery prices are still skyrocketing. Surging prices can still be traced to pandemic-related disruption of the supply chain, more expensive energy costs impacting food processing plants, geopolitical factors such as the Ukraine crisis limiting exports of fertilizers, grains, and oils, and extreme weather events that have destroyed millions of acres of crops in 2022, leaving massive inventory holes in the U.S. food system. On top of that, the avian flu has crippled egg and chicken production. Last year's drought forced ranchers to sell off their cattle early, which boosted supplies back then, but has created major shortages in 2023, keeping the cost of beef, milk, and other dairy products at record levels. Food manufacturers also cite the growing cost of labor and personnel shortages that are still sweeping across the country at the moment, adding higher transportation costs to the equation, and we have a disastrous combo for food inflation. Restaurants and consumers alike are reporting insane price hikes in 2023. A new report by NJ Advanced Media compared the costs of some everyday essentials between 2020 and 2023, and their finds are truly shocking. In the past 6 months, the number of Americans choosing to buy their groceries in bulk to save on costs has risen by 37%. But both bulk shoppers and restaurant owners who typically purchase their supplies in large quantities are realizing that they aren't getting better deals. Instead, the experience of buying in bulk is providing them both a clearer picture of how much prices have gone up in the past 3 years. According to the analysis, nearly every consumer and restaurant owner surveyed has mentioned one key food staple that has skyrocketed in price: chicken. In 2020, a 40-pound bag of chicken cost $27. Now it's selling for $108. That is a 300% price hike in the span of just 30 months, the analyst highlighted. In an interview with The Outlet, Anita Armin, owner of Indian restaurant Masala Bay in Somerset, says the unprecedented surge in chicken costs has forced her to pass a 10 to 15% increase in all menu items containing the ingredient in 2023. That comes after a 7% increase in 2021 and a 9 to 12% increase last year. I cannot wrap my head around that chicken price hike, Amin says. I just cannot. With a potato shortage hitting most U.S. markets since December 2021, one popular item both at restaurants and at home is also facing staggering levels of inflation this year. Frozen French fries, second on the list of products with the highest price increases in recent years, going up a whopping 156%. A 30-pound box of French fries that cost just $16 in January 2021 now sells for $41, researchers revealed. Rounding up the top three, avocados jumped in price by 122% since 2021. Avocados cost $1.70 per unit in 2020. Today, Americans are paying up to $3.77 per unit, while restaurant owners have seen a case of 42 avocados go from $45 to over $100. Next on the list is flour. Consumers used to pay less than $7 for a 25-pound bag of all-purpose flour at Costco in 2020. That same bag now costs them more than double at $15. Even my samosa, I used to sell it for $2.25. Amin added, right now it's $3.90 because flour has gotten so expensive. Every single thing is expensive right now. Soybean oil prices rose by 110% since 2020, the report also showed, with the cost of a 5-gallon container soaring from $20 to $42. Meanwhile, eggs and beef both saw a price hike of 100% from 2020 levels, analysts noted. The price of a 36-box of eggs went from $6.99 to $12.99, while the cost of a pound of ground beef went from $3.50 to $7. Shopper and baker Emma Taylor was paying $3.05 a pound for butter in 2020. It's up to $4.95 today. That's marking a 62% increase. I just keep hoping it's going to end, Taylor said. It's like being on a roller coaster. At some point, the ride has to end. That's what most Americans are also expecting to happen after so many months of food inflation eating up their budgets. Many people are simply cutting some products off their grocery shopping list because they've become far too expensive. A separate analysis by Mashed compiled consumer complaints on Facebook and Reddit to track which price hikes are upsetting consumers the most right now. Several essentials like cereal and certain dairy products posted record year-over-year rises, and Americans are definitely noticing the difference at stores over the past few months. $8.99 for a box with 6 granola bars. Like, come on. Tiny little granola bars cost more than the federal minimum wage, one comment reads. Cereal was something we would get 2 boxes a week, and now we maybe get 1 a month. Even the generic brands are way overpriced, shared one shopper, while a third Facebook user noted a 50% jump in cheese prices. I used to buy string cheese for lunches, and they doubled in price. Even the no-name brand, he wrote. The relentless rise in the cost of fruit is also leaving many consumers frustrated this year. I scanned grapes the other day. They were $20. They didn't come home with me, said another. Fruit snacks that used to be around $5 for the 40-pack jumped up to $7.12, and then within another 3 weeks, it jumped up to $9.12. Same brand, size, everything besides the price. I was already hating the first jump. Now I'm for sure not buying them, one shopper stressed. I tried to buy blueberries at Albertsons, $25. I put them back. another revealed. I used to be able to buy a bag of apples for between $3.50 and $4. Went to the store yesterday, they were $7.50, a user commented. The soaring cost of canned goods is also sparking outrage amongst U.S. consumers, the report exposed. A 24-pack of Coca-Cola cans, $8.99. Now it's $12.99. A $4 difference within a year is ridiculous, one Reddit user highlighted. I saw a can of soup going for $5.49 last week. Insanity, exclaimed another. In a thread published just a few months ago, one shopper says she's sick of grocery prices changing every time I go to the store. It sort of becomes a game now to guess how much something has gone up from last week's grocery trip. Even the price tags on the shelves aren't accurate because they change the prices so often. I don't even bother to tell the clerks that the prices are different. I've never experienced this type of price fluctuation ever. When will this end? She asks. It's ludicrous. I don't even try to save money on some items. I just stop buying them, one person responded. Never thought I would be going into debt to buy groceries, said another. Sadly, about 27% of Americans are also going into debt to afford their monthly grocery bills, according to data by Go Banking Rates. And it doesn't look like things are getting better anytime soon. According to HE Webb, officials now anticipate the price of food at home will continue to increase between 7 and 8% for the rest of 2023. And while there's no denying that everything at the store is more expensive these days, it seems some items will experience a more dramatic price hike than others. Among the several staple food categories affected by inflation, meat, milk, dairy, and grain-based products are still likely to face double-digit price increases in the months ahead. At this point, food inflation is making many people change their diets and worry about the quality of the food they're getting. That's the case with shopper Kiana Kwan, a front-of-house manager at City Cafe Diner in Chattanooga, Tennessee. During an interview with The Hill, Kwan said that soaring food prices are forcing her to change her food habits completely. Now I have to drop down in the quality of the products that I'm using for my kids. This is an issue because I don't like to use a lot of processed food items, she explained. I don't like to use a lot of GMOs, and I try to stay on the natural side with a lot of fruits and vegetables. But it makes it so you're almost forced to do more processed food because that's the last thing to go up in price, she added. You have to fill up on things that aren't as healthy. Even if you live a basic lifestyle, you just can't really afford to live like you were before. That's a problem, hitting the overwhelming majority of the nation. A survey conducted by retail industry technology platform Swiftly found that 70% of shoppers are currently struggling to afford groceries, and that's having a major impact on the way they eat. This is very alarming, considering that about half of Americans wouldn't be able to pay for groceries and monthly bills if they happen to lose their jobs during the ongoing recession, Go Banking Rates reported. However, the number of companies announcing layoffs in 2023 is still rising, and experts forecast a wave of mass job cuts is coming as economic activity continues to slow down. Today, almost 25% of American adults are already food insecure. That is a jump of about 5 percentage points from a year earlier. Food insecurity means that a person isn't able to secure enough food for a nutritious diet. Many of them often skip meals or cut back on food for themselves to be able to feed their children. Those actions can have serious implications for their health and well-being. Food insecure households usually have to make really tough decisions about whether they can pay their rent and their groceries, or life-saving medication and their groceries. 1 in 6 adults currently relies on charitable food, such as free groceries or meals. By comparison, about 1 in 8 adults relied on food charities in 2019 prior to the pandemic. Food stamp enrollment remains at record highs, With 42.6 million people receiving benefits as of June, that is about 15% higher than prior to the pandemic. The truth is that many cash-strapped households may just be a job loss away from experiencing a similar situation, especially considering just how out of touch with reality food prices have become. In the world's wealthiest nation, no one should be suffering from hunger, but it is already among us, and it may get even worse as the United States economy enters another crisis. Thank you for watching.